everybody! Seth here! On to the second of the Act 2 Monarch bosses, and our second last pack bearer boss, actually. Today we'll be looking at our beloved pack bearer of Sloth, Kokoro Surugidai, and her Monarch, Acedia. I remember loathing the idea of this fight in my stream playthrough so bad that I intentionally saved the routes you fight her in for last. Though the aftermath of her fights are far, far less terrible and cruel than Ryotaro, so I kind of regret that now. After the shocking display given to us by Ryotaro as a boss, surely everyone's favorite best girl is an absolute force of nature too, right? Well, yeah, no. But while she might lack the overwhelming force of Ryotaro, Kokoro has her own ridiculous tools and abilities to really cause some havoc on her own. Maybe it's a little bit debatable which of the two is better. I'll let you judge for yourselves. To all of my fellow Kokoro fans, this one's for you.
Let's go,
Oh, Kokoro. While this still isn't my preferred type of boss music, this song fits you to a T, so I give it a huge pass.
to victory.
At the very least, in her case, I expected something like this, unlike some other fights in the game. My music taste aside, here's Kokoro. Just like with Ryotaro, she has some different voice lines for certain actions, and will always have her level 2 magic gear equipped. The dialogue in question is a bit on the depressing side in some cases, as you'd expect, if you recall the context for her fights. Nothing much else to point out aesthetically, though.
Here I go.
I just want to disappear.
Do not bore me, my good man.
And here's Acedia, the only other male monarch in the game besides Ira. I gotta say, the description Kokoro gives of him in the council room didn't do him a shred of justice. This man looks awesome! Pretty posh looking for a being of sloth, I must say, and his demeanor, at least in English, fits that to a T. I kinda get a kick out of it. One of his turnstile lines is ever engraved in my mind. They picked a good voice for him. Can't say I get the weird red tube things that are breaking around his neck and going down his back. What the hell are they? Maybe I don't want to know. Additionally, he's got 2 extra arms that are tied together in front there, and a rather unique weapon of choice in the form of a miniature, old-timey artillery cannon. Kind of charming in a way to match Kokoro's cannon chair. Lastly, he's holding a pen for some reason. He maybe writes murder mystery novels or something and all that spare time he probably has. Kokoro did say he was a lazy bastard. That or trying to get you to sign your soul away. Overall, I really like him.
Leave me be.
Now that you've probably skipped over a large portion of the video, let's get into those stats and move pools. Kokoro, being a boss now, is obviously way less frail than she usually is, with a very respectable 3,800 health. Irrelevant fact, this is actually the lowest HP pool between her, Ryotaro, and their monarchs, but she still heals a good amount back from using the wait command, giving her a good source of self-sustain that she usually doesn't have. In my opinion, her boss form stats are more of a side grade than a direct upgrade, funny enough. She's got 100 more attack and defense than a level 99 player Kokoro, which is appreciated, but shockingly has way less Psi, which isn't good since that's her main attacking stat. Less luck and agility as well. On top of that, just like Ryo, she's stuck with her garbage-ass 4 movement stat, which is somewhat made up for by her range of her skills, but is still far from ideal. Also like Ryo, though, her moveset is packed to the brim, with high-level skills with a decent split between attack and support. Good Night Sleep Tight and Cannonade Catcher are both level 4 and able to deal much more punishment than normal. Mortal Coil level 4 deals very good damage and allows for cheap instant kills, which is always a plus. Tactical Evasion can prevent her from getting Assist Rush, but that's about it, and Strict Defensive is borderline worthless in most cases. Third Omen plus Accuracy and Counter aren't the best debuffs, but they're AoE ones at least. Lastly, she has the usual 2 boss passives, Mind Over Madness, and of course, True Resolve, with her Awakening skill Critical Report to accompany it. As for what kind of shenanigans that can employ, you'll see in a bit. Risky Broadside, something she'd greatly appreciate with that boosted attack stat of hers, is sadly missing. Overall, despite the array of questionable use support skills, she can more or less do all the usual Kokoro stuff you need her to. She can still spam Mortal Coil, cheese people out, which is probably the only thing you really need to look out for when fighting against her. Still a good authority user, and the extra boost to her physical stats are a nice bonus. Kind of weird those stats are higher than her Psi, but we're not going to bother trying to find the reasoning behind that. Her damage overall is definitely better than usual, and certainly vastly above some other characters, but she's also still far from being the biggest threat in the world. As for her Monarch, while Kokoro is the frailest of the party member pack bear Monarch combos, Acedia is the tankiest with a huge 4,400 HP. His stats are actually nothing to sneeze at either, with a 650 attack stat matching boss Ryo and even having overall better stats than him. Unfortunately, just like Kokoro, holding that cannon around, even if it's probably by some otherworldly force, seems to really slow him down, because he is yet another boss stuck with a depressing forward movement. Unlike Kokoro and the Sloth Fiend you get in your party, Acedia is a true physical attacker with great bulk for the front lines. His huge health pool and defense mix that strong attack set can actually make him a force to be reckoned with after he gets in range. As for his move pool, it isn't the greatest overall, but it does have a couple of gems. Only 8 usable skills, not counting his basic attack, which is the same as Kokoro's, and only about 3 are anything to write home about. One of said gems is him having Risky Broadside, it being maxed at level 5! This beast costs no HP either due to the Costless Arts passive, which allows him to abuse it with impunity for extremely high AoE damage. He also shares Mortal Coil level 4 with Kokoro, which, just like with her, can be good at trying for cheeky instant kills. He also packs 3 AoE debuffs, which while they're more useful types of debuffs compared to his pack bearer, they're only at a measly level 1 compared to hers. Strict Defensive remains equally useless to him as it is to Kokoro, his boss passives and Mind Over Madness are standard, and for his last skill and last decent move, we have the unique attack, Mist. Risky Broadside is definitely a go-to spam option, and honestly, if that was his only good move, he wouldn't be that much worse. To say it quite possibly carries him is a statement that certainly holds some truth. Though being able to duo spam Mortal Coil between him and Kokoro can obviously make for some nasty chance kills, if the roll of the dice is in your favor. He provides very good safety and security for his pack bearer, with his high damage support, and even his counter and assist attacks can hurt coming off that attack stat. Acedia definitely poses a considerable threat if underestimated, despite his shortcomings. Being the third of 4 users of True Resolve and a pack bearer, Kokoro has access to instantaneous awakening spam at the click of a button.
Solitude is bliss. Give me idle tranquility.
Awakening, fortunately, fixes her movement issue a bit by boosting it from 4 to the average 5, and of course makes her a lot more potent all around. I'd say she lacks good skills to really take advantage of it, though. Gee, if only she had Risky Broadside. But that doesn't mean she lacks her own flavor of bullshit she can bring to the fight, because this instantaneous awakening of course gives her the ability to also spam her awakening skill, Critical Report.
Calculating. Illogical answers. Superficial phenomena. I see it. A fruitless
As I'm sure we already know, this little trinket here gives Kokoro and every ally in her vicinity a guaranteed critical hit on an extra attack, which is, in her case, usually just Acedia. While this isn't the greatest on Kokoro herself, it does let Acedia do stupid shit like this.
Bombs away!
Okay, maybe this is a little more threatening than I originally thought. But we haven't even gotten to the real cheese with this yet. This crit buff will apply to any damaging move the target uses while active, which includes counterattacks and assists. Hitting crit on a counterattack can definitely make it a lot more dangerous to attack this head on, and their assists will also pack a hefty punch as well. But there's one more fun little thing about this buff to mention. Normally, the buff fades away after you use a skill with the unit it's applied to. But you see, Critical Report isn't consumed by assist or counterattacks. Well, this is mostly irrelevant in the hands of the AI. This is incredibly exploitable by a human player. Just throw it up, defer off to the other units to set up assist spam situations, and watch those guaranteed critical assist attacks rack up the damage. This is actually doable with normal Kokoro as well, though I wish I knew that during my playthrough of the game. Unfortunately, in Kokoro's case, using a True Resolve to go back into Awakening actually counts for your 1-3 critical hits, if you can't quite abuse this as much as you hope. It's not quite as ridiculous as Trigger Happy Spam, and it takes some cooperation, but it's still quite the sight nonetheless.
safe and secure.
Much as I adore Kokoro, though, I don't think there's really too much more to show off here. So I guess I'll be skipping the usual montage, keeping this video on the shorter end. We'll, of course, still lastly go over Acedia's own unique skill, though, Mist.
I tire.
Mist is a 120 power skill that hits all enemies in a massive 5-meter range all around Acedia with a chance of instantly killing. It also has a pretty neat animation. While this seems very good, it's actually not nearly as strong as it appears to be. For one thing, Acedia's Sai is considerably lower than his physical attack, so it's not his best damage option compared to just 4-hit Risky Broadside. As for the instant-kill effect, it seems really threatening on paper, but I actually was able to look into it, and that quote-unquote chance to instant-kill is only a measly 5%! 5%! By comparison, Mortal Coil is 165 power with a 15 to 20% chance of instant killing, meaning Mist absolutely fails both at raw damage and instant kill potential to Acedia's other options. Sure, Mist can instant kill more than one target unlike Mortal Coil, but with the odds as low as 5%, just go for Risky Broadside and blow those fuckers surrounding you to Kingdom Come. Overall, definitely one of the worst boss-exclusive skills, if not possibly the worst outright. At least Acedia has other good moves still. In conclusion, Kokoro and Acedia are both very solid, but they definitely have their flaws. They absolutely thrive on moving together as a unit so that Acedia can benefit from Kokoro's constant crit buffing. They're both far from bad, and as you've seen, Acedia can dish out some pain, but their movesets are painfully lackluster overall, and their garbage movement means with larger maps it can take a while to get around. At the same time, you can't count out the potential of a bunch of lucky mortal coil insta-deaths sweeping the field either. Perhaps you're better off taking a page out of her AI's book and letting the enemy come to you instead? Debatable. These two are just sort of fine. I've been unfortunate that Kokoro is also one of the weaker main targets of the game. Despite that, she very much charmed the hearts of many, including myself, who played this game. We all opted to use her despite how bad she is overall in a fight. Never change, Kokoro. Never change. I'd say that about wraps up our sloth video. These two are among the less crazy bosses we have to cover in Act 2. Fret not, though, as the absurdity will once again be ramping up very quickly as we continue onward. I'm not gonna say who we're covering next, let's not spoil any of my wondrous longtime viewers who I introduced this game to on future events. If you've beaten the game yourselves already, though, there's a certain mid-boss that'll be coming up next. That'll probably be a very short video overall, but they do absolutely deserve one, if only for their amazing, impactful boss theme. Maybe it being shorter will mean I'll have it done sooner? One can hope. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to catch you in all future uploads, and I'll see you later.